the news. President Biden today attended the White House Easter egg roll. However, due to inflation, the kids all had to share one egg. I'm gonna need that back, guys, too. New York Mayor Eric Adams recently tested positive for the coronavirus, and it's the first positive result he's had. New Jersey is set this week to begin allowing the sale of recreational marijuana. So now when people drive in New Jersey, instead of "what's that smell?" they'll be saying, "Ooh, what's that smell?" The Florida Department of Education announced last week that the state has rejected over 50 math textbooks from next school year's curriculum due to references to critical race theory. What kind of word problems do those books have? If Johnny has to buy 30 apples for the Black Panther meetings, the Boston Marathon was held today. It's the only marathon that starts with someone yelling, "Cops are here!" A Florida man was arrested recently after authorities found a baby alligator, firearms, and drugs in his car during a traffic stop. So they had to cancel the gender reveal party. Authorities in Spain recently detained a fishing boat that was carrying more than 6,000 pounds of cocaine in a fuel tank, which was dumb because they could have gotten way more for the fuel. The athletic apparel company Lululemon will launch a program this week where customers can exchange their gently used clothing items for e-gift cards. Or, if you prefer cash, there's always Gary. Yeah, oh, hey, before you go in the store, I'll pay double. Gently used, super used, Gary's not picky, is what I'm saying. And finally, a man in Florida recently broke a Guinness World Record by watching the movie Spider-Man: No Way Home 292 times, and then set another world record by watching Morbius twice. In a new interview, the Russian ambassador to the U.S. said that he hasn't talked to President Vladimir Putin since 2017. Yes, you have, said a houseplant. After a federal judge ruled yesterday that the CDC mask mandate on public transportation was unlawful, New York's MTA announced that it will still enforce the mandate. However, you are allowed to briefly pull the mask down to smoke weed on the subway car during the morning rush hour. In a new special, Fox News host Tucker Carlson discussed a red light therapy called testicle tanning that advocates claim can raise testosterone levels. Oh, I think there's a place on the corner that does that. So that's you just stop by. Pretty cool. New York City, you know? Tesla CEO Elon Musk said in a new interview that he does not own a home and has just been staying with friends. Listen, we know you're lying. You're a billionaire. You don't have any friends. That's right, Elon Musk says that he does not own a home and has just been staying with friends. Man, it's got to be pretty galling to come home from work and the world's richest man is watching Jeopardy and eating your Cheerios. It's like Snoop coming over to bum some weed. The New York Daily News published an op-ed yesterday by disgraced former Governor Andrew Cuomo. Though it was weird, he put that in his byline. According to a new survey, a quarter of Americans said that they would want a professional biographer to write the story of their life, while some literally can't get them to stop. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin reportedly told a crowd at a $5,000 a plate fundraiser last month that he plans to run for re-election in 2024. Well, I should hope so, although it would be hilarious to charge people $5,000 for a chicken cutlet and then announce your retirement. Old Joe's going fishing. Enjoy the chicken, suckers! And finally, according to a new survey, 42% of Americans said that if they had the chance to meet their favorite celebrity, they would ask for a selfie, or in my experience, directions to Times Square. Oh, sure, anything for a fan, it's right. Hey, while I'm here, you want a selfie? You don't, okay. How about I take a picture of you? Just, no, okay. Right down there. According to a new book, President Biden proposed to First Lady Dr. Jill Biden 5 times before she agreed to marry him. So basically, he proposed marriage the same way he ran for president. How about now? Okay, how about now? A growing number of top Russian officials are reportedly starting to question President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, which means there's about to be a shrinking number of Russian officials. Texas Senator Ted Cruz criticized Disney yesterday for opposing Florida's so-called Don't Say Gay bill and questioned what kind of content the company will now produce, adding, quote, "In every episode now, they're going to have Mickey and Pluto going at it." What are you talking about? In every episode, you have to build up to something like that. That's season finale stuff. The FBI recently arrested a man for participating in the Capitol attack after he was turned in by the driver of the Uber he took after the insurrection. Well, that'll teach him to give a 3-star rating. Politico this week published its first election forecast of the 2022 midterm cycle. Not to be outdone, Fox News already called it. The fast food chain Popeyes announced plans yesterday to launch a flagship in Times Square. Man, I miss the gritty days of this city, when the only place to eat in Times Square was the Olive Garden. An unnamed worker has filed a labor complaint that alleges Nintendo violated their right to unionize. Well, it wouldn't be the first time they tried to sow discord by pitting tradesmen against each other. According to a new study, the legalization of marijuana lowers the demand for prescription medication. I mean, sure, why go all the way to Duane Reade when you can just go to Dwayne? And finally, in a new... Thank you to my drug dealer, Dwayne, for letting me use this picture, by the way. I mean, I guess that's one of the nice things about, you know, the decriminalization of it all. Is 2 years ago, he'd be like, "No, man." And then he's like, "No, yeah. Yeah, no, you put my number up, too." And finally, in a new interview, the co-founder of Arizona Beverages said that the brand's popular iced tea will remain priced at 99 cents despite inflation, which sounds amazing until you see how much they've shrunk their iced cans. After a clip was released yesterday of former President Trump storming out of an interview with journalist Piers Morgan, a spokesman for Trump, called the preview a, quote, "pathetic attempt to revive the career of a failed television host." Buddy, you're gonna have to be more specific. That's right, Piers Morgan released a clip from an interview with former President Trump that he claims will be, quote, "the most explosive interview of the year." Well, it's certainly gonna be the sweatiest. I mean, look, he looks like Jigsaw just told him he has an hour to name all the state capitals. After the Capitol attack, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell reportedly told he was a majority at the time. No, he wasn't. Was he? After January 6th, was he?
Yeah, before, right?
Yeah, but on January... Oh, no, he wasn't. You know what? I think the important thing right now is that this is good television. We're going to argue that. After the Capitol attack, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell reportedly told his advisors that he thought former President Trump was responsible for the insurrection and added, quote, "the Democrats are going to take care of the son of the bitch for us." Oh, come on, Mitch. You've been around politics for a long time. When have the Democrats ever taken care of anything? Rudy Giuliani appeared on... Oh, I'm sorry, you had to find out here. Rudy Giuliani appeared on The Masked Singer last night in a Jack-in-the-Box costume and sang the song Bad to the Bone. I mean, that is just unbelievable. Somebody famous was on The Masked Singer. The new CNN Plus streaming service is reportedly shutting down on April 30th after launching less than a month ago. Well, I'm not surprised. You already have a 24-hour news channel, and you couldn't even fill that with news. Don't get me wrong, I'd watch Tucci go anywhere. The Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C. is set to be sold in the coming days to a Florida-based investor group led by this intriguing mystery man. Disney World on Tuesday lifted its remaining mask requirements, and it is really freaking out the kids. Tyranny's over! The organizers of the Tony Awards have issued a warning to attendees that this year's ceremony has a, quote, strict no violence policy, which is obviously a response to that time that guy shot Alexander Hamilton. People love Hamilton so much, they were like, yeah! A man in Canada recently discovered through a DNA test that his biological father was his former coworker, though he probably should have figured it out sooner. Just, I like when I have to wait a second because it's a reading joke. Today was National Tea Day. Oh, do you guys want some tea? In that case, Wally's getting fired later.
Hey.
I'm kidding. Like, I went to the network brass and I said, either he goes or I go. And they're like, have a great day. And finally, according to the latest numbers, by this summer, Netflix is projected to lose around 2 million subscribers. To combat this, they're tweaking the app a little. And that was